How should a shared document space for a nonprofit be organized? All right. Wow, this is fun. A lot of nonprofit questions this week. Usually I get a pretty fair mix from nonprofit and for-profit. All right, so a shared document space. So first of all, I'm really glad you're asking me this question, and I would like to share with you that I'm glad you're asking it. Don't work in silos. If the reality of, and you know what, the answer that you're about to get, 99% of it, because it's all in my brain, 99% of it applies to the for-profit world as well. So hear this, love this, and feel freedom in this answer. If your reality is that you're working in a team environment, don't make your data be private and unreachable by anybody else. So that means don't have information stored on your local computer. First of all, you're on a team, and in a team, information needs to be shared. The number one success factor of teams is communication. And if you want to limit the communication of an unplanned somebody walking into your office and usurping whatever you set aside this time for, the least you can do is share information. If you're in a team environment, share that information. That means you're going to be using SharePoint, ShareFile, Google Drive, Dropbox, Box, any one of these or other systems, because if you're in a team environment, information needs to be shared. Don't be somebody's, what's that word? It's like a cork in the bottle. Well, don't be a cork in somebody else's bottle. And you don't want anybody to be a cork in yours either. And the second piece is, if documents are stored on your local machine, what happens if something happens to your local machine? Computers are fallible, objects. They can be lost. Your fruit punch can spill on it. It can be stolen. And then, what happens to all that data? If everything is stored in a shared environment and remote hosted on a server or on a cloud storage, like the technology that I just mentioned, ShareFile, SharePoint, Box, Dropbox, Google Drive, for example, then if something happens to your local computer, big whoop. It doesn't matter. It's like, have you ever noticed that hardware has gone through this cycle when computers, or early in the days of when computers started making it into the workplace, they were, what were they called? Like dead something. They were workstations, but they were empty. They didn't have any data. And then it became the coolest, hottest thing to keep your data stored on your own computer. Wow, it's right here on my own computer. I don't have to hook it up to anything. Wow, that was great. And then it's come full circle again, and for good reason. Now we want these to be essentially expensive pieces of metal, or in the evolving manufacturing environment, less expensive pieces of metal, so you can access your information from wherever. So, in specific answer to your question, yes. How should it be organized? At the top level, consider who needs to access it. So consider your top level folders, not only by logic of how the organization is divided up, for example, finance, marketing, or fundraising. And if anybody just roasted me for saying marketing and for collapsing marketing and fundraising, okay, I'm open to that. You can educate me. Operations or program services, executive or administration. Those are some main areas. Now, but also consider who needs to access. If you consider your top level folders as groups of access permissions, everybody who needs to access finance, fine, get them into the finance folder. And if your organization isn't that way, for example, if your HR folder, if you want to keep that sensitive, which is a topic for another question, and if anybody else wants to ask me, to what extent should HR information be transparent versus protected, then I am really up for that discussion. But for the moment, let's say that your HR folder, it needs to be for the executive director's eyes only and whoever's in charge of HR. Then you can create a separate top level folder that only has those two roles as access permissions. Just remember, never have only one person have access to it, because something happens to that person and all of a sudden the organization is blocked. And the last thing you want is something like logistics or red tape, something like that, to really keep your organization from making missions. We're in a team, let's be in a team environment. So that's my big picture of how a shared document space should be organized.